Hi, my name is Samara Nazir and I'm an attorney with Probate yesterday. In addition to helping clients with estate planning matters, I help clients navigate the probate administration process. And today I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about what the probate administration process is and why you may choose to avoid it. So probate is required when an individual passes away and they have assets left in just their name alone at the time of death. Probate is the court process that transfers the title of those assets, and we apply it in two situations. The first situation is when an individual dies intestate. That simply means that somebody did not create an estate plan, so the state puts one in place for them. The second situation, and this surprises a lot of people, is when an individual has just a will. Now, a will is a legal document that explains who will handle your estate, who will receive assets from your estate, and how much they get. A will by itself does not have legal authority to transfer assets. A will is simply instructions for a judge on how you choose to have your assets passed. So now that we understand what probate is, let's talk about what that process looks like. If you have a will, the first step is to admit that will to probate. Second, we want to petition the court to appoint a personal representative, and this is the person in charge of gathering all those assets and getting them ready to distribute to named individuals. So as part of that probate process, the personal representative needs to publish notice to creditors. In addition to that, they need to provide a detailed inventory of all of the assets in the estate along with what their value is at the time of death. They also need to provide a final accounting, so everything needs to be documented that's been paid in or paid out of the estate. They also need to make sure that final taxes have been filed and paid. To close the probate estate, that personal representative would file the final accounting and ask the court for permission to go ahead and distribute those assets to the named individuals. Now, that cannot be done until all claims, debts, or any taxes are paid. If you're ever a personal representative, you want to wait until you have court approval to go ahead and distribute those assets. If you don't wait for that and there's still remaining claims, you may be personally liable for that. Now, the probate process may seem fairly straightforward, right? You go ahead and you open the probate estate, you notify the creditors, you gather and record all the assets, and then you ask the court to distribute those. Now, why is it then that so many people try to avoid probate? Well, for one, it's a public process. That means that the individuals receiving your assets, how much they're receiving, when they're receiving it, and their addresses are public information. Two, there's limited access to those probate assets as you're going through the process. That's an issue because three, the probate process is very time consuming. It can take upwards a year or more to make it through the probate process. And that just depends on how many conflicts are involved and how many family issues that you run into. Fourth, there can be multiple probates involved. There needs to be a probate estate open in each place that the decedent owns property. Fifth and finally, probate can be very costly. It can cost up to 10% of the total estate value. That includes court fees, attorney's fees, bond fees, publication fees, accounting fees, and so much more that can add up very, very quickly. Now, I want to remind you that this is just a brief overview of what the probate process can be. If you have a loved one that's passed away and you have questions about if probate is required or not, or if you want to find out ways to avoid probate for yourself and your estate, please contact an attorney.